whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it? You get indicted and your poll numbers go up. When people get indicted, your poll numbers go down.
Okay, again, so we're gonna gloss over the fact that he said the exact opposite thing when it was happening, that when he was indicted, it was a great moneymaker and it shot up in the polls. And there's even some evidence that actually happened. But now, because he wants to seem like a victim, his poll numbers went down, even though he still became the nominee. But anyway, he said there, you get indicted for interfering in an election where you're totally entitled to do it. So he is saying that he did it. Now, he is also saying that he's allowed to do it. The issue for him legally is that he's wrong. Like, you can't say, I'm allowed to steal this from a store and so I did it. You're confirming the crime. Now, you're also absolving yourself of responsibility, but you're not actually responsible for that part of it. You're responsible for the crime part. It's the criminal justice system that gets to decide whether there should be consequences. So you saying you're allowed to do that is less than pointless. It doesn't mean anything. But he confirmed there that he interfered. And the weird thing is that, like, we have to sort of like watch out for times in which he tells on himself and just says the quiet part out loud. But he is saying the quiet part out loud for a reason.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
He's on with Mark Levin right there. And Mark Levin liked that he tried to overturn the results of the election. The only thing about it that Mark Levin didn't like is that it didn't work. If Mark Levin could take like all of our like sacred documents, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, all that, set it on fire and just have a Trump-led monarchy, he'd be perfectly happy with that. And in that, Mark Levin actually shares a lot with his audience. That's the weird thing about this experience. Donald Trump is at the exact same time admitting he did the thing that he might go back on trial for, like if we ever actually have any actual progress on that. And he's saying it because everyone watching that live, at least, desperately wanted him to do it, and they want him to do it again. We live in such a weird country. I mean, Katie Fang posts criming and then confessing to the criming. That's a Trump specialty. But again, there's a reason that it's a thing that he keeps going to. It's because there's no immediate consequences to it. He can admit all these terrible things because he knows that the only people he needs the support of, the MAGA people and all of that, love that stuff. They love the crimes, they love his worst excesses, his worst personality defects, the way that he attacks people, the conspiracies and the misinformation, they love all that. So spreading all that, there's no consequences. The only potential consequences could come from the criminal justice system. And thus far, we still basically are at like civil stuff. We've had some civil stuff, E. Jean Carroll and the New York fraud case. And aside from that, we have like at least 4 different criminal cases where he is alleged to have committed crimes that he definitely did. And now he's just openly bragging about it. And we still don't know what's gonna happen from that. Will he spend a single moment in jail? Will he spend another moment in a courtroom even for it? We don't know because they've been so successful in slowing things down. But I do want to just point out one extra bit of irony before we move on to another topic. He's saying like that he gets to interfere in elections, but bear in mind, not everyone gets to interfere in elections. He literally said, I'll jail Zuckerberg if he interferes in the election. And what's so awesome about that is it's not even just as hypocritical as it seems, because what he's talking about for Zuckerberg isn't interfering in the election. He just means if Facebook isn't nice enough to him, he will lock Zuckerberg up, in his words, for the rest of his life. If Facebook, like clamps down on misinformation or something like that, he says he will lock him up for the rest of his life. Again, free speech absolutist Donald Trump. So that is interfering with the election. You should go to jail for the rest of your life. Sending a mob at the Capitol to string up your own VP if he doesn't single-handedly somehow hand you the presidency, that's not interference, or if it does, it's cool, who cares? That's what he actually thinks. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?